Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Cortez, and today I'm going to record a video for our lesson, and we're just going to continue the lesson from previous week. We talk about the description, objectives of the subject strategic management, or in short, we call this STRAMA. And while I am retrieving my video, okay, ito na. Okay, ito na siya. Present ba siya? Okay, it is presenting. So for those who were not here last week, we talk about the description. So ayan ako, may introduction and the description. Subject. Ayan. So itutuloy lang natin to, guys. Okay, that is our virtual classroom. Once again, description ng ating course, STRAMA, and objectives, or course objectives natin. Okay, so tutuloy natin siya from last week, and this slide tells you the coverage or the topics to be covered of our lesson. So we have 6 topics for today: definition, evolution, the impact, initiation, environmental scanning, and the hierarchy of strategies. So sana matapos natin ito within 1.5 hours. Okay, so I don't know how do I appear sa inyong gadgets now, if I have a good audio and good video. Okay, so last week we defined the subject, and today we continue with the definition ng ating strategic management. The course itself, or the term itself, strategic management. Okay, so medyo balik ang aking presentation. Okay, so ating definition, strategic management is the act of managerial, first sentence lang, guys, strategic management, the act of the set of managerial decision and action that determines the long-run performance of a corporation. So meron diyang dalawang takeaways, firstly, managerial decision and long-term. So as I said last week, STRAMA is being done by the higher-ups of the company, of your business. Yung pinakamatataas, the CEO, the owner, the manager of the company, sila yung gumagawa ng strategic management. Kasi pag sinabi natin strategic plan, that is broad, napakalawak niya, that is very generic, that is very general. Hindi ito yung araw-araw natin ginagawa. Hindi ito yung monthly na ginagawa natin. Pag nag-set sila strategic plan, that is good for 5 years or more than 5 years. Strategic plan, tawag natin doon. So strategic management is being done by the higher ups, and it will cover not only 1 year, but it will cover more than 1 year, example 5 years. So they have the 5-year plan to manage the company. So parang doon sila umiikot minsan. 5-year strategic plan of the company. Hindi masyadong mahaba, minsan 3-year plan. So that is long run. So kayong gagawa as owners of the company later on, kayong gumagawa o gagawa ng isang strategic planning as part of your strategic management. Okay, so it includes also environmental scanning. So na-take up din natin to, kumbaga, we started with the topic about environmental scanning last week. So we talk about the internal, the external environment of the company that can affect your company and can also be affected by the action of the company. So hindi pwedeng binabaliwala or ignore the environment, both internal and external environment. Kasi meron silang say sa growth or performance ng iyong company. Okay, and we also have here, ayan, monitoring of external opportunities and threats of the environment. So that is part also of scanning, that is external scanning. So we have taken this one before in your previous subjects ng mga SWOT analysis, no? So, minsan we call din the TOWS, TOWS. Ano yung pwedeng gawin? Ano yung magkaka-apekto? Ano yung hindi pwedeng gawin? Na nasa labas, no? And those are uncontrollable by the company. Pag sinabi natin external opportunities and threats, no? Both positive and negative. So, positive yung opportunities and negative yung threats. No? So, pag hindi mo sila i-consider, if you will ignore them, later on, siguro, hindi mo pa siya mararamdaman ngayon, but if you ignore them later on, in the long run, it can affect your company. So, that is important. Parang Duterte yung post ko dito. Okay, so, going back to the next slide. So, that is the definition of strategic management natin. And the next one, the evolution is divided into 4 phases or 4 parts ng pag-evolve. Phase 1 up to phase number 4. So, yun natin siya para malaman natin yung slowly, no? Para ma-distinguish talaga natin yung pagkakahati ng pag-evolve ng strategic management. In phase number 1, the title is the basic financial planning. So, basahin natin. Basahin natin sa sabay-sabay. Okay, hindi ka lang. Alright. During this phase, managers prepare complex proposals whenever they are requested to provide the following year's budget. Projects are proposed based on a shallow analysis, with most information coming from within the firm. The sales force usually provides a small amount of environmental information used in this effort. So, sa title pa lang, basic financial planning. So, in short, before, mga early part ng strategic management, they concentrated on only one aspect. That is only the financial planning. Kumbaga, in time na if they establish their business before, pera lang talaga yung kanilang focus, yung kanilang goal, no? Pera lang talaga. Kaya nga, financial planning din talaga yung kanilang focus. Para isang aspect ng kanilang operation. They don't care about the human resources, the production, they don't care about the research, environmental, internal and external. Pera, no? Financial planning lang talaga. So they have a very shallow, napakababaw na analysis. They are just into budgeting. Okay? Pag-budgetan talaga yung kanilang focus. Saan galing yung pera and saan gagamitin yung pera. Okay? Parang pera-pera lang talaga. And the sales force, they don't have market research. They don't have environmental scanning. Wala masyadong ganun sa kanila. Although meron silang mga information or data gathered from the outside na ginawa ng kanilang mga sales force, no? Ay napakakunti lang. Kumbaga, incidental lang siya. Hindi talaga nila intentional before na maghanap ng data from the outside. Hindi tulad natin ngayon may ginagawa tayong environmental scanning. Dati wala. Kung mayroon mang data na nag-gather from the outside para magamit sa operation, those are just incidental. Parang nakita lang din. Kaya sinama din sa kanilang pag-decide for the company. So, basic financial planning lang ang kanilang ginagawa. Okay? And so, unti-unti, from phase 1 up to phase 4, unti-unti gumaganda, unti-unti naging complex yung sa ating strategic management. Because yung number 4, phase 2, okay, so phase 2 natin, ayan. So, slowly, they are now doing forecasting. Nagpo-forecast na sila. So, medyo hindi na sila from the outside, from the inside madalas na gumagamit ng pag-decide. So, meron rin sila sa labas because of forecasting. So, basahin natin sabay-sabay this one. Forecast-based planning. During this phase, managers attempt to propose 5-year budget plans. So dito, hindi lang pang isang sa phase 1 kasi, pag sila nag-budget for 1 year lang, para sa sunod lang na taon. But now, sa phase number 2 natin, slowly, they are now doing 5-year plan. Unti-unti nagiging long run na yung kanilang ginagawa. Budget for the next 5 years. No? So they are now forecasting for the next 5 years. No? Forecast revenue for the next 5 years. So ito, tumataas yan, di ba? Pag nag-forecast ka, yung revenue for year number 1, dinadagan mo siya. Because that is your assumption. No? Your business growing, so slowly, every year, na dapat may dagdag sa iyong revenue, like 5%, no? Or 10%. So you do that, no? For the next 5 years. Ilan magiging forecast mo bawat taon. And kasama dyan, syempre, yung mga cost and expenses ng iyong company. So, saan kukunin yung pera? Sa next 5 years, saan kukunin yung pera? Sa next 5 years, saan mapupunta yung pera? So, the sources and the use of funds ang ginawang forecasting sa ating phase number 2. So, at this point, they consider projects that may take more than a year. That is what we call the going concern assumption. Pag nagtayo ka ng business, you assume that the business will continue for more than 1 year. Hindi ka nagtayo ng business sa loob ng isang taon. So, tuloy-tuloy siya. We assume that it is continuous, no? Tuloy 5 years, 20 years. San Miguel, ABS, more than 100 years. So, long term, ang ating ginagawa, we assume that we have projects or revenue sources for the next 5 years. May ginagawa mga transactions for the next 5 years. That is our assumption. All this is time-consuming, but it also involves a full month or more of managerial activity to make sure all the proposed budgets fit together. Okay, so that is phase 2 of forecasting ng budgeting. Medyo long run, medyo long term na. You look beyond 1 year only. In contrast with phase number 1, isang taon lang. Dito tayo, medyo dumadami na. It can be 3-year plan, 5-year plan, or maybe 10-year plan. So, ginagawa natin forecasting dyan. Alright, and phase 3. Teka lang ha, i-alarm ako. Okay, so I hope you are listening. You are still there. So, phase 3 in phase 3 natin, externally oriented planning. So, ang keyword naman dito, external orientation. So, let's read this one together. Let's read this one. During this phase, top management initiates a formal strategic planning systems. Due to their frustration with a highly political and yet ineffectual 5-year plan, the company seeks to increase its responsiveness to changing markets and competitions by thinking and acting strategically. So, the 5-year plan is not enough sa strategic planning. So, companies in this phase started to be more responsive to the outside world, external environment. For example, the competition are now to be considered. Changing market situation, the competitors should be also considered because they are important. So slowly sa ating phase number 3, they are now going outside their shell. Samantalang sa 1 and 2, parang sa loob lang sila, di ba? Okay, so in this phase, they discovered, they realized that the environment outside are also part of the operation that should not be ignored. So they started doing market research, okay, thinking or knowing the market, the needs of the market, the needs of the customers. Hindi lang puro profit-oriented, hindi lang puro kung anong gusto ng company, ayun ang gagawin. So in this phase, no, kung anong gusto ng market, what are the trends in the market, yun ang kanilang slowly ay ginagawa. And also what are being done by the competitors, they inject that in their operation. Okay, so plan is taken out of the lower level managers and concentrated in a planning staff. Okay, so dito, they now considered, or sa inyong company, no, you can consider having a group or staff ng trabaho ay mag-plan lang. Or isang group, isang company, isang department sa inyong company ng trabaho ay maggawa ng strategic planning. Example, the management committee ng isang company, no? Or the board of directors of one company. Ang trabaho nila ay mag-plan lang for the company. So parang hindi na mas may specialization na, may specialized group na talagang gagawa ng strategic plan. And the task is to develop strategic plans for the corporation. And that is that group. Their task is to develop strategic plan for the corporation. So also in this phase, they started having consultant or getting consultant from the outside. Consultants often provide sophisticated and innovative techniques that the planning staff use. No? Now, kahit gaano ka magaling entrepreneur or negosyante, it is also important no, that you should get some consultancy from the outside. Kung consultant, hindi mo alam lahat. Na, alam mo man lahat, pero ka pala hindi alam. So those people from the outside, the consultant, they can provide you with different perspective. Okay? Na hindi mo nakikita pag nasa loob ka lang. Yung mga taong, kahit mga yung may-ari ng mga biggest corporations in the country like San Miguel, meron silang consultant. Kahit mga hardcore negosyante yan, meron pa rin consultant mga yan. Kahit siguro kaya may consultant pa rin yan. Because they believe that may perspective na hindi na nakikita. Kaya they get from the outside. And still, we are part of the external oriented planning galing sa labas. Okay? And also here, they also started with organizations getting competitive intelligence units. Underscore this one, intelligence units. Isang unit sa loob ng company, ang task, no? Ay mag-gather ng mga intelligence. Pag sinabi intelligence, these are the useful information from the outside, from the market na pwedeng gamitin sa company, especially marketing data na binibili, na binabayaran. Right? Those are being done by this unit, intelligence. Mag-gather ng mga info na pwedeng gamitin. Example, mga data analytics na ngayon. Example, ng mga data sa Facebook, malalaman ng mga marketer by kung anong preferred na mga consumers, no? By just looking at their post sa kanilang mga Facebook. No? Example, if nagpo-post ka ng mga damit. Ibig sabihin, mahilig ka sa damit. Or nagpo-post ka ng mga mahilig ka mga magluto-luto. Sabihin, you love cooking. No? So, doon malalaman ng mga intelligence unit kung ano ang preferred or sino mas pinakamarami na preferred ng isang product by just looking at their face or social media account. Kaya lang, siyempre, ginagather nila yan. Paramihan yan, data analytics na. May mga companies na nag-gather ng ganun, mga data. So, the posting of different users, Facebook. No? Yun ang binibili. Okay? So, pag ang company may ganung units, intelligence units, na, so, they're gathered data from the market na pwedeng gamitin sa pag-create ng innovative products. Kaya mga innovation, di ba? Innovations, nalalaman natin mga anong product ang gusto ng mga consumers through market research, through these intelligence units. Yan, that is still from the outside. So, it boils down to external-oriented planning na ginagamit natin yung mga data from the outside. Okay, so more moving on sa ating phase number 4. Are still there? Okay, amatid ba kayo ng graduation ceremony kahapon? Napanood nyo ba yung graduation? From 10 to 12 yata, So, in 1 year's time, kayo naman, yung mag-virtual graduation, Pero siyempre, maganda yung actual, di ba? Yung face-to-face graduation. Talagang magmamarcha ka. Although yung kahapon ay maganda naman yung virtual, it was well-organized and well-executed. Pero iba pa rin yung pakiramdam na nagmamarcha ka. Di ba? Tapos, with your toga and with your robe, na suot-suot mo. Sarap pakiramdam. That is intangible. Okay, so moving on, phase number 4. Teka, i-full screen ko nga ito. Okay. So, phase 4, ito na yung currently, what we are doing now. Currently, ito yung phase number 4. Ito na talaga yung strategic management na ginagawa natin ngayon. So, during this phase, Duterte. During this phase, the top management realizes that even the best strategic plans are worthless without the input and commitment lower-level managers. So, the organized planning groups, managers, and key employees at many levels. So, sa phase na to, this is in connection with democratic type of leadership, democratic type, participative type of leadership that involve yung mga subordinates. So this one, hindi sa autocratic. There is not an autocratic type kasi you involve several people from the organization. For example, ikaw yung manager ng isa, you are the owner of the company. At meron kang mga 50 na mga empleyado. So ang gagawin mo is you have managers. You have 2 managers. Sabi mo, 2 managers. So mag-submit ka ng proposal or suggestions para sa ating strategic plan na gagawin for the next 5 years. Sabi ng 2 managers, o sige boss, i-cascade namin to sa ilalim sa aming mga supervisors. So yung supervisors nila ay kasama rin sa paggawa ng planning ng kanilang department. Diba? Ay mga supervisors ginagawa, you also involve the subordinates, yung mga silalim nila. Okay? So ang nangyari, unti-unti nabubuo from the lower level ang mga suggestions, lahat ay may part sa pagbuo ng plan sa parang pyramid na makaabot sa iyo. So yung 2 managers na si boss, ito na yung suggestions namin. So it came from the supervisors and also came from their subordinates. So lahat ay kasama, di ba? So maganda dyan, one head is better than one. Hindi mo alam lahat. That's why you have your managers, supervisors na pwede mo suggest. Di ba? Another thing is, the people of the organization, they feel that they are part of the organization. Pag sinasama sila sa mga ganitong consultation, sa paggawa ng mga plan for the company. So parang part. So walang nababypass kasi lahat ng suggestions, maraming suggestions, no, ay may part yung mga nasa ilalim. That is strategic management. That is your style. That should be your style later on. Diba? You delegate some of the powers na mag-isip. Okay, so they organize planning groups of managers from different departments. So pag meron ka 5 departments, so meron ka 5 managers, so meron ka 5 suggestions na pwedeng i-inject sa pinaka-overall strategy ng iyong company. Okay, so another takeaway from this phase 4, rather than forecasting, hindi palaging forecast ang ginagawa nila, they also consider probable scenario and contingency planning. Contingency planning, so as managers, ito ginagawa ko din. Pag may mga meeting plan, meron kagad akong nasa isip na what if scenario. Paano kung ganito? Paano kung ganyan? Paano pag hindi nag-click yung isang plan? Paano pag nabili niya? So, paano pag may na-late? Paano pag hindi dumating suppliers? The what if scenario. So parang ganun ka, you look at the bigger picture. Kumbaga pag nanonood ka ng TV, no? Pag malapit ka lang sa television, nakikita mo konti lang. Pero pag ikaw ay lumayo sa television, hindi na yung television nakikita mo, but the bigger picture. You anticipate. Magandang example pa pag nag-drive ka. If you are driving, nagmumotor ka or something. Pag malapit ka na sa intersection, hindi na yung intersection tinitingnan mo. Tinitingnan mo yung nasa kaliwang parating, yung nasa kanan na parating. Baligtad na. Nasa kaliwang parating, nasa kanang parating, at yung nasa harap mo na parating. So, palingalinga ka, di ba? Ganun din ako pag nag-drive ka, palingalinga ka. So, you look at the bigger picture. Okay? Kung anong pwedeng mangyari. So, sa business, ganun din. The what if scenario, and pag meron mga scenario, dapat meron kang backup plan. Dapat meron kang contingency planning. Di ba? Kasi, sometimes what is annoying, yung problem darating pag alam mong pag iniisip mo lang talagang problem, saka palang darating yung mga problem. At the last minute, yung problem dumarating. So sabi ko sa mga estudyante before sa event management last accept. Pag nag-organize ng event, dapat na ang equipment ay may backup. Dapat may doble. Pag nag-event, example, yung mic dapat 2. Di ba yung mic? Kunwari, mic na 2, dapat yung mic. Kasi minsan yung mic masisira. Pag nasira yung mic, tapos wala kang backup, wala nang gagamitin yung host, yung MC. Yung gagawin, di ba? Hindi marinig yung boses. Kahit napakaliit na equipment sa isang event, dapat doble. Dobleng USB, dobleng mouse, di ba? Parang gano'n. Kahit yung projector, di ba? Yung projector pag nasira. At meron kang contingency, anong pwedeng gawin. Right? Kahit yung MC, kahit yung host, dapat meron kang backup. Paano pag di dumating yung sa traffic, di ba? At meron kang backup. So, in business, those are contingency plan. Right? When I was with this hamburger, when I was in college, so, naubusan kami ng ban. Ng tinapay sa burger, naubusan kami. So, in 1 hour, wala kaming ban na gagamitin. So, in an hour, wala kaming burger na ibibenta. Nakakabenta ko yung mga 80 peraso bawat oras. So, sayang 80 peraso pag wala kang ban. So, dapat meron kang contingency. Pag naubusan, saan pwedeng manghiram ng ban? Ng tinapay. Diba? Wala. Sa mga negosyo, ganoon din, no? Pag naubusan ng ingredients, example sa resto, diba? Pag kinulang, nakatunganga yung mga customers. Aalis na lang yan, diba? O sayang. Okay, so dapat meron ka mga ganung senaryo. Paano pag hindi nakarating supply ng suppliers, no? So dapat meron kang pangalawang suppliers. Yung ginagawa natin sana sa phase number 4. Okay, so therefore, those are the 4 phases of evolution of management. Initiation of strategic change. Strategic change daw is defined as changes in the content of a firm strategy as defined with its scope, resource deployment, competitive advantages, and synergy. Okay, so we can't avoid change. Change is inevitable. Change is constant. Lagi siyang nandiyan. Okay, you go around with changes. Kasama natin palagi yan. So we can't ignore changes. So in short, we can change. Kaya nga 5-year plan lang eh. No? Hindi sa masyadong mahaba, hindi sa 10-year plan. Kasi ang ating mga plano or strategy ay pwedeng baguhin depende sa environment. Dapat flexible, parang sa FUCU, di ba? Flex tayo. So, pwede siyang baguhin palagi. That is part of your plan. Kasi, in 2 years' time, may mga nagparanas na nagbabago eh. Mga cellphone nga, in 6 years' time, in 6 months' time, may mga bagong features. So, pwedeng baguhin yung ating scope, yung lawak ng ating ginagawa para sa company. Minsan, the overall strategy can be changes. No? Yung objectives natin, pwede nating baguhin. Diba? We are used to objectives na SMART. Diba SMART ang objective sabi natin? Objectives should be SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. Okay? So, yun dapat daw ang objective. Dapat hindi lang SMART. No? Dapat siya smarter. May nadagdag ng letter E and letter R. Smarter. Okay? Yung letter E nagdagdag, objective should be ethical. Okay? Hindi lang attainable, hindi lang measurable. Ethical din ang isang objectives. Yung last letter R, smarter, diba? Objectives daw can be re-evaluated. Sabihin, hindi fixed yung objectives. It should be capable of being re-evaluated. Pwedeng baguhin. No? Kung may kulang, kung may sumobra, kung hindi masyadong relevant, no? Pwede natin re-evaluate ang plan natin and baguhin. Yan. So, scope, no? We can also change the resource deployment. Di ba ang resource natin? Pera, machine, materials, manpower, di ba? Minsan sa katumututok, baka ngayong taon nakatutok sa materials na bili ng materials na mga machines. Pinalimutan manpower. Pwede baguhin natin yan. You can focus now on the manpower. Alagaan naman natin yung manpower natin. Huwag lang puro materials, puro buildings, machines, equipment. So resource deployment. Tawag natin dyan. And we can also change our competitive advantage. May mga advantage tayo ngayon na it cannot be relevant anymore sometimes in the future kasi nagbabago siya. Example, ang advantage mo yun yung course, no? Example, course mo, meron kang sa university. Ang flagship course nyo is business. Diba? So, may mga course kasi may mga course na later on, hindi na sa masyadong relevant. Inabasa kong research, no? One time, na in 5 years time, yung skills na ginagamit mo ngayon ay hindi mo magagamit sometimes in the future. Nagbabago. May mga courses na relevant pa rin ngayon, but sometimes in the future, hindi na siya relevant. Kasi nagbabago. So, meron mga advantage ngayon na hindi mo mas maging advantage later on. Kaya pwede mong gamitin, palitan, no? Yung mga competitive advantage. Dapat flexible. Para QC yun. Now, synergy. Synergy is, that is the combination of two values na pag kinumbay natin ay mas malaki pa yung value dun sa kanyang individual value. So, some issue you combine kasi you collab with some people para makabuo ng synergy. So, synergy is 1 plus 1 is equals to 3. Diba normally 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Pero pag sinabi natin synergy, 1 plus 1 is equals to 3. Yan, ibig sabihin, bakit 3 ang total? Ibig sabihin, yung total, pag nag-combine ka ng dalawang values, dalawang tao, for example, pag pinag-combine mo sila, nakakabuo sila ng isang result na mas valuable pa kesa ang kanilang individual values. Okay? Example, sa inyo, di ba? Yung sa inyo mayroong 10,000. Yung isa meron ding 10,000. Pag pinag-combine daw yan, it is 30,000. Kasi pag nag-combine kayo, meron kayong isang intangible na performance, na task na nabuo nyo biglaan na hindi mo pwedeng gawin pag mag-isa ka lang. That is synergy. Sa mga business, may nangyayari mga synergy. Okay, and in simple form, strategic change is a way of changing the objectives. Pwedeng baguhin ang objectives, pwedeng baguhin ang vision of the company in order to obtain greater success. Okay, so, vision, objectives can be capable of being changed. Na pwede mo sang palitan. Especially ngayon na talagang because of technology, because of several factors like the pandemic, bubulagin ka na lang na hindi na pala pwede. So, you change your objectives. Yung pwedeng baguhin. Yung overall business pwede mong gawin eh. Pwede mong palitan lahat ng business mo. Because of several factors. May mga schools nagsasarado. May mga negosyo nagsasarado. Biglaan. Huwag lang biglaan sarado, no? Pwede mag-pivot eh. Pivot means yung pwede kang magpalit ng Pwede kang magpalit ng core business na kung hindi na talaga relevant yung isa because of several factors like the pandemic. Okay, so may tanong ba kayo dyan? Wala nagtatanong Hindi mo pagtanong. Examples of environmental scanning. Sir, paano gagawin ng scanning? Especially now, na pandemic. Para hindi ka pwede mag-scan ng pagpunta sa mga businesses para mag-benchmark, para alamin yung gusto nila. Examples are gathering data deliberately through market research studies. Okay, so kaya nga meron kayong market research na subject. I think you are done with market research na subject. Ito yung subject na tinuturuan kayo paano gamitin ang market research to your advantage sa business through survey. So inaalam mo sa market anong kailangan nila, anong latest trend. Okay, example sabi nila sa market research, maraming research na pwede mong gawin na ikaw mismo. Pero pag meron kang gustong malaman na example, customer behavior, ano bang gusto ng customers? Yung nilalapitan sila para i-assist, pero hinahayaan lang sila. Di mo alam, di ba? So, nagagawin mo, you do your own market research survey. That is one way of knowing the external environment of customers. Okay, so, survey. And having informal conversations with other executives. Okay, so important pag meron ka ng sariling business later on, you join business groups, business clubs, kahit informal lang na usapan, or you attend webinars or mga seminars online para makapag-network ka. Kasi ito yung mga taong magsasabi sa iyo kung anong ginagawa nila na profitable sa kanilang mga sariling business na pwede mo rin gamitin sa business mo. So parang sabi ko kanina, di ba, hindi mo pa alam lahat. So, dapat may nagko-coach sa'yo. Mga business coaches na tinuturoan ka paano paandarin yung isang business. Example, mga Lions Club, mga Rotary Club, may mga small time na mga business group na through networking na lalaman mo mga techniques na mga latest trend, latest techniques sa kanilang mga negosyo na pwede mong gawin. Also, reading secondary sources such as web articles, newspapers, magazines, journals. So, read. So, walang exception sa na hindi ka magbasa. Kahit anong literature, no? Basa ka, comics, libro. Nung elementary ako, nahilig ko magbasa, comics. Kasi wala pang internet dati sa province, walang masyadong libro. Napagalitan pa ng lolo ko na mahilig ko magbasa ng comics. Pero may natutunan ako. Kahit anong basa, no? Nung high school ako, naging laman ng library, nagbabasa ng mga dyaryo. Malaking dyaryo. Nung college ako, ganun din. So parang 4 na taon sa high school, 4 na taon sa college, palagi akong laman ng library. Mahilig lang magbasa, no? So meron ka dito isang sa likod ko, no? Sa likod ko, yung cabinet ko, yung upper part niya, punong-puno ng libro na binasa ko, no? Pag yun ay pinagpatong-patong, mas matangkat pa sa akin yung mga librong nababasa. Sabi ka, may nabasa ko minsan na isang taon, dapat makabasa mga 6 books. Kasi natututo ko mag-grammar, sentence construction, pronunciation, or mga contents, no? Na pwede mong gamitin sa negosyo. Now, huwag pa laging libro. Kasi unang-una, wala na masyadong libro ngayon, wala tang library. At ang libro kasi ay hindi masyadong updated. Kasi, example, ang libro ay dated 2020, no? Hindi naman masyadong ina-update yan, no? Kumbaga, yung taon pinapalitan lang. So, minsan, obsolete yung laman ng libro. Ang maganda, meron mga website articles, newspaper, and journals. Ang magandang basahin, journals. Kasi ang libro, obsolete. Ang journals, ang laman niya ay mga latest results of research. Mga business journals, no? Basta ka mga business journals, may mga kukuha din about the market, about the company, about the environment. Kasi itong journals, yan ay mga research ng mga businessmen or students business. So talagang current yan. There's latest. Nagagawa, mainit-init pa, no? Gagawa pa lang. Yan, journals ang basahin nyo, mga business journals. And of course, monitoring demographic data. Kapag nagre-research ka, sinasama mo ang demographic data profile ng mga respondents mo. Example, groups, age group, sinasama mo. E saan silang age group kasama? Gender group, and nature of work group. O tinatawag mo demographic profile. Kasi pag may research ng ganito, tapos may result na a certain age group ang bumibili, alam mo kung anong pwedeng ibenta sa kanila. Alam mo rin dyan, anong age group ang pinaka mahilig mag-patronize ang ganitong product. Yung below 20 pa, or mga 30 to 40 na age group. Or kasama gender, di ba? Alin ang mas preferred products ng mga babae? Yan ba yung sa color? Example sa color. May isang research dati na nagtataka siya bakit yung kanyang products ay walang masyadong bibiling lalaki. Then he discovered na yung mga products na makaramihang kulay ay panlalaki. So nag-launch siya ng product na feminine colors na. Pastel colors, gano'n, no? Yung kanyang mga cellphones. So, because of gender. So, may effect yung gender sa yung profile nila, no? May effect yung research. So, yung environmental scanning. Okay, and continue. Okay, ito naman yung what are the advantages of environmental scanning. Wala bang tanong dyan? Wala nagtatanong Nandiyan po ba kayo? Okay, advantages. No? So, let's read this one. Information collected and analyzed during the environmental scanning process allows an organization to make informed decisions. Hindi ka lang nagde-decide na hula-hula lang. You decide because you were informed ng data. You were informed anong gusto ng market. Then you decide. Because you do market research. Informed decisions about the overall health of the organization. Okay, ito na yung you evaluate the company kung saan ka malakas, saan ka mahina. So the strength and weaknesses of your company. The SWOT. That is part of environmental scanning. The external, the opportunities and threats, and the internal, the strength and weaknesses. That is environmental scanning. And that is being done to know the health of the organization. Saan ka malakas, saan ka mahina. So anyway, lahat naman ng companies may kanya-kanyang lakas, may kanya-kanyang hina, May strength and weaknesses mga yan. Kahit yan ay, one time nabasa ko yung San Miguel Corporation, nabasa ko din yung mga weaknesses and strength, no? I also read about SM Group, so I read about their strength and weaknesses. So lalo ng mga nasa habang lumalaki ka, dumadama yung strength mo, dumadama ang weaknesses mo, di ba? So pag may liwit ka lang company, meron ka ring weakness and strength, pero konti lang. Importante, you know how to build more on your strength and you know how to minimize, di ba? Yung mga weaknesses mo sa loob ng yung company. And you know how to take advantage of opportunities, di ba? And consider the threats, yung mga risk na pwede mangyari. Okay? Sa mga schools lang may kanya-kanyang strength mga yan. Example, QCU, di ba? QCU. Siyempre, pag pinag-usapan natin ng entrepreneurship, wala nang tatalo sa QCU. Strength natin yan di ba? Pero siyempre, meron din weakness. Right? Now, opportunities, marami kasi because of the pandemic, ang dami nagtanggalan ng mga trabaho. So, naisip ng iba, magnegosyo. So, marami nag-enroll sa entrepreneurship. Those are threats, di ba? Those are uncontrollable. Those are opportunities, those are uncontrollable. Meron din mga threats. Siyempre, di ba? Example, pandemic. Pandemic can weaken a company. Those are uncontrollable. Yan, so in short, no? May weakness and threats yung mga companies, no? Na pwede nating tinitingnan natin, which is important. We are aware of our SWOT kasi gumagawa ng iyong environmental scanning. Okay, and next one. Okay, ito naman tinatawag nating the hierarchy. Hierarchy, pagkakasunod-sunod, no? Pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga strategy. Parang Maslow, di ba? May pinakamataas na ang gumagawa ay yung sa Maslow, may pinakamataas, ibig sabihin hindi lahat ay may ganon. But that is the highest form of needs. Maslow theory, hierarchy. Sa ating strategy, meron din tayong hierarchy. Pagkakasunod-sunod. Alin yung naunang gawin at alin yung nasa ilalim na ginagawa ng mas mababa sa company. So the hierarchy of strategies describes a layout in the relations of corporate strategy and sub-strategies of the organization. Individual strategies are arranged hierarchically and logically, consistent at the level of vision, goals, and metrics. Yung pinakataas sakop na pinakailalim, ibig sabihin, pag gumawa ka bago gumawa ng nasa ilalim, gagawin muna yung nasa taas. O lahat ng nasa ilalim, lahat sila ay in accordance with the higher level. Kaya meron tayong hierarchy. Parang sa Maslow, di ba? Yung pinakamataas, self-actualization. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng tao ay dadaan muna sa pinakababang needs bago maabot ang self-actualization. Kaya pyramid siya. No? Kaya ganun ang ating layout ng ating hierarchy strategy in pyramid forms. Okay? So let's go to the next slide. And I know this one is the last one. Pagod kayo, no? Makinig, no? Okay, hierarchy of strategy. Sa ating pyramid, ang pinakamataas doon, the vision, the mission, and objectives. Dapat meron ka muna ng vision. Then para maabot yung vision, gawa ka na magagawin. Broad objectives, no? Those are the mission. And to do the mission, dapat meron kang ginagawang objectives. So once again, pag sinabi natin vision from our previous discussion, ito yung you visualize what will happen to your company several times into the future. Saan siya? In 5 years time, nasaan yung company? Nasa taas ba siya ng industry? Or ano lang siya, average player lang? Or anong ginagawa? Ano lang kanyang ginagawa? Several years into the future. Tinagusang vision. So, nakikita mo sa dako karon. Pag sinabi nating mission, ito yung mga gagawin mo, ito yung mga dapat mong gawin para maabot yung iyong mission. Okay, example, sa AMA. Sorry, hindi ko masyadong kabisado yung vision ng QC. Sa AMA University kasi, ang vision is to be the leader in IT education. No? So parang ganon. So, several years into the future, nakikita ng university na silang leader sa IT education. Vision. Ang kanyang mission naman is to provide IT-based education. Para maabot yung vision. Dapat ang mission kang ganun. And mga sub-objectives, okay, ang school meron mga objectives na gagawin para maabot yung mission. Now, meron tayong metrics. Ang metrics ay, ito yung mga tasks na ginagawa natin para ma-check, ma-evaluate kung yung objective, mission, and vision ay natutupad. Metrics tawag. Example, ulit. To provide IT-based education. Yan ang kanilang mission. At ang metrics para chine-check. Right? O, tinaalam nila yung mga graduates pa, saan napunta mag-graduates. Nag-graduate ba sila ay nakakuha ba kagad sila ng magandang trabaho? O yung mag-graduates pa ng IT ay talaga sa IT department pa talaga sila na-assign. O pan-check yun. O bago mag-graduate, magkakaroon ng comprehensive exam, comprehensive test para ma-check kung talaga meron silang knowledge about IT na kanilang pinag-aralan bago sumabak sa workforce. Diba? Dahil those are metrics na pan-check, pang-evaluate. Pag hindi naman, so babaguhin. Kaya capable of being re-evaluated ng objectives. Smarter, di ba? Okay, so inuuna natin sa ating hierarchy, yung vision, mission, and objectives. Then sinalim niya, meron tayong strategy. Bawat departments ay may kanya-kanyang strategy. So, merong example sa yung department or yung company later on, meron kang 5 departments or 6 na departments. So, bawat department may kanya-kanyang strategy na ginagawa. Okay? But those should be global. As part of globalization, dapat ang strategy is synchronized with globalization. Hindi lang pang-Pilipinas, kumbaga, no? Kasi may ASEAN 2016, ibig sabihin, Southeast Asian nation, you are marketing your products not only to the Philippines but to Indonesia, Thailand, Brunei, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, ganun, ba? ASEAN, global, no? So, nagtinegosyo ka not only for the Philippines, no? Kasi because of internet, you can sell outside, you can sell abroad. So, dapat global ang lahat ng strategy ng iyong department or different section of your department, no? Dapat ay global. Kasi normally, hindi naman lahat ng companies ay nasusunod na may kanya-kanyang division of labor. Pero yung mga malaking company, merong specialization. Example, normally sa isang company, merong marketing department. Hiwalay ang marketing. Siyempre, hiwalay ang marketing sa accounting, sa finance. No? Hiwalay ang marketing sa sales. Pero siyempre, mas malawak yung marketing department. No? Marketing department, sa ilalim niya, merong sales department. Kasi mas malawak ang marketing kaysa sales. Sales is only a branch of marketing. Magkaiba sila. Sales ay pagbenta lang. Samantalang ang marketing, Yung apat na P's na marketing, practicing, di ba? Promoting product and place, process. So marami siyang ginagawa. So marketing strategy, example, di ba? How overall marketing, anong strategy ng marketing department mo? To use social media advertising. Yan ang strategy. Huwag masyadong billboard, huwag masyadong radio advertising, huwag masyadong television advertising. Focus tayo overall sa marketing strategy. Okay? At siyempre, sa ilan marketing strategy, maraming klaseng pwedeng gawin para makapag-market sa social media. Example, messenger advertising, banner advertising, yung marketplace advertising, affiliate advertising, di ba? Maraming klaseng pwedeng gawin sa social media, di ba? So malawak pa rin ang yung marketing strategy na pwedeng gawin siya. Okay? Sa financial strategy. Ano naman ang strategy ng finance department mo? Example, strategy natin makapag net income. Sa next 5 years, makapag net income na 10% ang increase bawat taon. Yung pinakatubo, dapat tumaas tayo ng 10% sa susunod na taon. Then 10% ulit sa susunod na taon. So, overall strategy sa financial, okay, is to have 10% increase in net income per year. Yan. So, anong gagawin mo? Diba? So, benta ng marami, revenue, cost cutting, minimize expenses. Okay? Pag kulang pa rin, pag kulang investment, mangutang sa bangko, diba? Internal financing or external financing, mangutang sa bangko ng pagkasunduan. Those are examples of financial strategy. At meron ka rin tinatawag na HRM strategy. HRM, Human Resource Management, di ba? Ano yung strategy mo pagdating sa mga tao? Okay, example, our strategy, for example, for the people or for the employees of the company is for them to have professional growth. Paglago ng company, dapat lumago din mga employees namin. Dapat sabay. Okay, growth, increase in salary, promotion, professional development. Dapat mag-grow sila. Walang maiwan. Okay? Pag nag-grow yung company, ang wealth can be divided or can be shared sa mga employees through net profit. Net profit or profit sharing. Yan. Okay? That is magandang strategy, no? Employees growth for the company. Ano naman information strategy? Siyempre, that is always given. Isang company may IT department because of technology. Dati, college ako, di pa masyadong uso yan. Unti-unti, the IT department becomes a significant department sa loob ng isang company. Okay? Ang pwede ko na dyan, pwede mong strategy. Example, lahat ng data privacy or cyber security, pwedeng gawin dyan. Kumbaga, data protection ng lahat ng data ng company, kahit na employee data should be properly protected. And down the line, marami kang pwedeng gawin. How do you secure or protect the data inside the company? Okay? Or pwede naman through IT department, pwedeng lahat ng document ng company ay paperless na, no? Paperless documentation or paperless transaction. Yan ang target ng IT department. Walang masyadong papel-papel. Blockchain technology na gagamitin natin. Okay? You know blockchain technology? Di ba ngayon, pag kukuha ng TOR sa QCU later on, na-graduate, isang copy lang, TOR, isang copy ng diploma. Pag nawala yun, pupunta ka ulit sa QCU para magbayad ulit for another set of TOR and diploma. Okay? Kung sabi ng IT, tanggalin natin gano'n. Pag tayo, blockchain technology. Wala nang papel. Paperless na tayo. Paperless transaction. Blockchain gagamitin natin. Pag nawala TOR mo, pag nawala isang document ng company, example, may isang sales invoice na nawala, o download lang sa website ng company, protected naman siya because of blockchain technology. Okay, so pwede siyang gamitin. That is a good strategy, no? Paperless transaction sa inyong company. Maganda, wala masyadong papel na gagamitin. Wala ka na ipa-file, no? Alright, pwede lang na to, material strategy. Ito naman sa mga materials na ginagamit sa loob ng company. So pwede ka ditong example, purchase of materials na ginagamit. Okay, zero wastage of materials sa loob ng company. Dapat walang masyadong Duterte ulit no? Walang masyadong nasasayang na materials sa loob ng company. Kaya nga zero wastage, no? So lahat ng spare parts na ginagamit, lahat ng materials na ginagamit, dapat ay may pupuntahan. Dapat walang waste talaga. Zero wastage. No? Kasi sa mga, example sa mga fast food now, or mga restaurant or karinderya, magasto sa mga waste ng mga ingredients na nagagamit. Okay, example, when I was with Wendy's, no? Sa Wendy's dati, pag yung chicken ay inaabot ng 4 na oras at hindi na ibenta, discarded na yun. Sabihin, hindi na siya ibibenta. Hindi namin pwedeng kainin yun, no? Tinatapon lang yata nila, iniipon lang yata dun sa restaurant, eh. Kasi bawal. Minsan, alas 12 tanghali, no? Gutom ako, hindi po ako nag-lunch. Kasi parang hanggang alas 12, parang 10 to 2 yung aking duty, no? Kuha ko ng manok sa chiller ng Wendy's. Drumstick. Dinala ko sa toilet. Doon ko sa kinain. Pero nagutom ako, eh. Pero bawal yun, no? Pag nahuli ako ng manager, wala nang memo yun. Talagang termination agad. So may pilferage or spoilage ng mga materyales sa loob ng isang company. It's either mapulok, masira, mapanis, or kinakain. Pilferage, no? Kinakain, inuumit, kinupupit ng mga employees. Yan. Those are materials. So may mga kulang talaga o nawawala because of those things, no? Pilferage. So avoid those things to make some strategies, zero wastage. No? You are strict when it comes to disposal ng mga materials or supplies, no? Sa loob ng iyong store or company. Okay, di ba? So, the last one, organizational development strategy. So, ito na yung ginagawa as sub-strategy na pwede mong gawin. How to develop your organization. Una natin i-develop yung mga employees, di ba? As part of the organization. You train them, you give them incentives, no? So, para ma-develop ang employees mo, you invest on them. Example, team building. Team building is a good investment for organizational development. Kasi hindi puro trabaho lang, no? At meron ka ring time na my employees, they should have life balance kasi life balance, no? They should have time for themselves. Hindi puro trabaho. Nakakamatay ang work. Work, stress could kill. So, dapat balance lang yan. Team building mo sila, no? Kahit saan mo man yan. Wala mo sa adong budget. O kahit lang, kahit weekend video ka session, weekend dinner, so pwede na yun. Basta magsama-sama lang, camaraderie rapport. Hindi naman palaging out of town, eh. Pag walang budget talaga. No? Yung lunch meeting, diba? Malaking bagay sa mga employees yun, no? Yung talagang they go outside of the office para mag-meeting, lunch, or dinner meeting. So, that is something for them. So, you invest on them. Pag may pera, ipadala mo sila sa mga seminars na pwedeng attendan. Sponsor mo sila, no? Para matuto. Para ma-develop sila. No? May estudyante ako sa MBA. Sa SAP siya nagtutrabaho, SAP is AP. Yung kanang tuition fee sa university, parang 25,000. Sagot yun ng kanyang company. Okay? Pero siyempre may return of service. Pero siyempre, di ba? Yung empleyado mo, nag-upgrade sila. Natututo sila, no? Kasi yung webinars, no? Parang kayo, ayan. Ngayon pa lang, usong-usong mga webinars. No? Mag-ipon kayo ng mga webinars. Not only for the certificate na pwedeng ikabit sa resume, kundi yung skills na pwedeng matutunan sa kanila. Yun. And I hope that they can develop the organization. Okay, so I think I don't have slides anymore. That's the end of the presentation for week number 1. We are done with week number 1. So I hope that you got something from this one, from this recorded video. Kahit wala akong participant nagre-recite one way. Thank you for viewing this one, and I'm going to upload the PowerPoint is recording the activity number 1 sa ating classroom so that you can download them and view what's and answer the activity. Yung activity ko wala namang masyadong deadline, no? Sa activity number 1, di pa ako masyadong magpapa-deadline kasi leniency, di ba? Hindi pa lahat ay nasa classroom natin, hindi pa lahat ay invited. Siguro sa mga activities number 3 na lang papa-deadline ako, like 1 week after submission ng mga activities. Okay, so I hope that you got something from this one, and thank you for coming down and watching this video presentation. And once again, this has been Dr. Cortez signing off, and see you around, guys. See you next meeting.